everybody, welcome back to Making Stuff with Mrs. Baroody. I'm Mrs. Baroody, and today we're going to be talking about pop art flowers. Now, pop art was an art movement, and we're not going to tell you all the details, but if you want to, definitely look it up. It was interesting. But they used things that were from popular culture, and they often used pops of color that really worked well with each other. So we're going to talk about complementary colors and how we can use that, and we're going to go back to a video from a little bit ago on how we folded our paper into 6 boxes. We're going to do the same thing, but with 4 boxes. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gents, like I said, we are going to be working on some pop art flowers. And what makes these pop art is we're not going to make them look realistic, and we might not use necessarily realistic colors. But before we get to the colors and all that, we have to first prep our paper and start sketching some things on there. So I have a piece of kind of watercolor paper, multimedia paper, because I'm not sure if I'm going to paint or color with Sharpies, who knows. I have my pencil and my eraser, just like always. And before we use those, we are going to do something with our paper. So those of you that would watch the video several weeks ago that was on the color wheel, we folded our paper into 6 pieces. Squares, so we could do different designs of them. Today we're going to just fold it into 4 squares, kind of rectangles, and that's a lot easier. So to do that, I'm going to start with my paper nice and horizontal. That means it's a long, wide rectangle. I'm going to take one side and I'm going to fold it over to the other one and make sure, just like before, we're matching up the edge and the corners the best we can. And then I'm going to take my finger and slide along here. I don't need to use my fingernail and make it crispy, just a little bit of a fold. So now we have 2 rectangles. I'm going to turn my paper so it's vertical. That means a tall rectangle. And this side's going to be trickier because we already have that fold in there. I'm going to take this side and fold it over to the other one, again making sure that the edges of my paper line up and the corners. If I do this, that's not going to be right. It's not going to look good. Make sure everything's lined up as best you can. And then again, running my finger down there. And now I should have 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. Now I like to take my pencil and just lightly draw along that fold to help me out later when I start adding my colors and things. Okay? So now we're ready for flowers. And one of the reasons I choose this project is because it's springtime. There's a lot of flowers and leaves going on outside. So if you don't want to draw flowers, you could draw leaves. If you don't want to draw those things, you could draw bugs, because bugs are starting to come out a little bit more. You could maybe even draw a bird if you wanted to. But I'm going to focus on flowers. So one of my examples that I started and colored in a little bit is this guy right here. You can see that I have my 4 rectangles. And for this, I did it all freehand, and I'm old, way older than you. I've had a lot of practice, so this was not too difficult for me. If you want to make things a little simpler, absolutely. If you want to make a big circle in the middle and then put more smaller circles onto the inside, go for it. But I'm going to try and keep mine sort of more flowery. So I want each of these rectangles to look basically the same. When you look at this example, the design is basically the same. Might not be exact, I did it freehand, but they all should look very, very similar. So in order to do that, I could use something and trace it. So I could use a roll of tape and line it up where I want it. And I can trace the inside, and now I have a circle. And I can keep doing that in each of my rectangles, but I'm going to keep an eyeball on where I put them in each of the rectangles. So if I put this circle close to the middle, that's not going to look right because that one's not close to the middle. So I'm going to do my best to kind of make sure that the circles are sort of all in the same area of their rectangle. Whoop, I almost went outside on that circle. Silly Miss Baroody. Alright, so now I have circles. This is the starting part for my flower. I could do petals on the inside. I could do petals on the outside. But maybe I want to do both. So I'm going to take my pencil nice and light because I can always erase it if I make a mistake. And I can make petals on the inside like this. And you can see I have lots of sketchy lines. That's because eventually I'll trace over them with some colors and no one's ever going to see my sketchy lines. So I've started to do my petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means in all of these other circles, I also have to have 6 petals. And that's why we're doing our pencil and eraser. So if we make a mistake, Squeaky squeak, gone, and no one even knows that we did it. If you are going to paint with watercolor or acrylic or something, remember what I always say, we don't want to press down really hard, because even if we erase that line and we don't see the pencil, there's going to be an indentation in the paper, which means our paint is going to sort of into that indentation, and we don't want it. So let's pretend, I've done all of my flowers. Don't they look exactly the same? Awesome. Now I have to think about colors. On this one, I did blues. Now in pop art, we want our colors to really pop against each other. So I might look back at my color wheel and think, across from blue is orange. That means orange and blue are complementary colors. So if I wanted that blue to pop, I'd want to put some orange next to that blue. If I colored this flower with purples, I might look across the color wheel and say, oh, yellow is across from the purple. I might want to color that with yellow. And that'll make those colors pop, like my final project. Okay, so I have purple here, so I put yellow on the outside to make it pop. I put green, and it was nice bright green, so instead of putting red, I put pink, because remember, pink is a tint of red. And then over here, I have my blue and orange, Whatever you decide to do, think about your complementary colors. Think about making those colors pop, and think about where your skills are. If you are great at circles, then use a circle base for your flower. If you're like, I don't know, I might have some trouble with that, then think about using a ruler, make straight lines. These flowers are not super realistic, right? They sort of look like flowers, but they're not perfect. Have fun, make sure that you're being safe, you're being kind, and you're definitely being creative. And I'll see you guys next time.